Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports, and today we have another one of our ballers in here, Miss Keyana Smith. She's currently at Park University. Welcome to the show, Keyana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. What high school you went to, and what position you played, and even go back further. Give our audience a little bit about your basketball career when you started playing.
Okay. So I started playing basketball at around 7 years old. I first started out with Della Lamb. They had a bitty ball program, and that's where I joined, and that's where I learned to first start playing basketball. So I spent majority of my time with that team traveling every year for AAU basketball. For high school, I played for Lincoln Prep, and then I spent 4 years there under Coach Jeff Atkins, and went on to Park University, where I've been, and I have one more year currently and left in my career.
Who's coach at Park?
Coach Norman Cooper.
Hey, did Coach Cooper recruit you himself, or did you walk on? Talk about that.
He recruited me himself. I remember him coming to a couple end of the year tournaments that we had in high school, and that's where he had gave me like an information packet, introduced himself, and then he spoke about just my game, and that he let me know that he had been watching me over the last couple years, and told me a little bit about his program, and that's where communication first started.
Talk about your experience at Della. A lot of you ballers have come out of that program, and talk about some of the coaches and what that was like.
I could say it was it was a great experience for me overall. I met a lot of lifelong friends and came across many coaches and mentors who have guided me on my path still to this day. I know when I first started, I was working a lot with Coach Tony Woods, Maurice Jackson, Coach Sean, and at those ages, that's really where they really developed my skills.
What age was you? I'm glad you brought that in.
Elementary school, so I started at 7 and then worked my way up with them the whole time, and that's where they developed my game and helped me get fundamentals and just really laid the foundation and the groundwork for the basketball player that I became.
All right, so when you went to Lincoln Prep, and I think I told you off camera that's where I started my team, and I've been knowing Coach Atkins, the Pirate, forever, and he has produced a stellar group of young ladies. He's got the conveyor belt when it comes to you young ladies that have gone to Division I and done a whole lot of things with their life. What did you learn from Coach Atkins while you were at Lincoln?
One thing I could say that I learned from him is just the manner that I handle myself on the court. People are always looking and always watching. And when you have your teammates that are there too, they're watching you for...
Look at me.
Oh, sorry. I'll be looking at the camera.
You on camera. Keep going with your
interview. Oh, sorry. But I would say... I just threw me off. He basically helped me to understand that the mental aspect of basketball, it starts before you get on the court, and so that's something that I learned from him, is always to walk into games prepared and envision myself on the court doing the things that we've practiced day in and day out, and just that's the end goal to winning, is that coming together and winning, and that's how you do it.
All right. And what was your seasons like? Run that down, freshman on, and how you learned and progressed. To your freshman to your senior year, and then we're going to go into you're a junior now, getting ready to be a senior, or you're a
senior.
Yeah, and we're going to go into that.
From high school?
Yeah, go from high school, what that was like, the learning experience, the curve, and everything.
Okay. From high school, I would say it was a learning experience because I jumped into a program that kind of had a few returners, and then I was a freshman walking on. I did end up eventually walking on and starting at my position, and from there is where I learned to really grasp and hone in on my skills as a basketball player and adapt to a faster pace kind of a game. And then I was learning as well. I was coming from a program where I could kind of shift and do the things that I want to do. And then you come into high school and the coach is asking of you to do a couple different things every game. So that's kind of where my mind focused on rebounding, defense, score whenever I can. So I could say that that's when my game probably had the most like kind of shift or growth, because I was walking into a totally new environment and new experience with a new coach.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up. I haven't asked this in some time, and it seemed like you grasped this. When you're playing for one coach and then you get another coach, some players can't deal with that. Well, my coach did it this way. My coach did, and you. How well do you feel what you learned from Della help you transfer to Jeff and then transfer to where you're at?
I would say that you come into a lot of different situations, so you have to adapt and learn to fight through adversity. So other coaches might challenge you in different ways or different scenarios, and you have to come through at every time so they can have faith in you, they can have trust in you when it comes down to the line on games. So that's pretty much just where I learned to have a relationship and build a relationship with my coaches so they can trust me, and then in return we have a winning season or a winning outcome.
Run it down, freshman on. With Jeff, your personal season development. Talk about the team development, and run it down to your senior year, what you accomplished and what the team accomplished.
Okay. So going into my freshman year, like I said, I was walking into a team that already had returners. So I was kind of adapting, finding my role, finding my place. And so that year we went on to win. I think we won conference and we got to the first or second round of districts. So that was pretty good, and that's what we left off on those years, freshman years. My sophomore and junior years, I was pretty much the upperclassman. We didn't really have any more people that were like
seniors and juniors, right?
Yeah, so I was pretty much the upperclassman. So my role kind of changed a little bit on the court, more bringing the ball up sometimes, even just whatever the team needed me to do, I'm basically doing. And so we competed really well those years. We had a lot of incoming freshmen or sophomores that were helpful to the team. And so we ended up, I think we got to conference and we ended up winning or tying with Southeast. So that's how basically sophomore and junior years went. Senior year was kind of like the lone road. I was like the only senior on the team, and so I had a team.
Were you a captain?
Yeah, I would say I was a captain. So I was the only senior on the team, and we had pretty much underclassmen or juniors, and so I kind of tried to put the team on my back and lead in many ways. I was trying to play whatever position that we needed to play at the time. I was doing that. We were competing at a higher level. We were competing against bigger schools and taking on more competition, so I was trying to be a leader in that aspect as well. And so when it came down towards the end of the senior year, we had a good run, and then we fell a little bit short, I feel like, at our conference tournament, but we still finished.
What did you learn from that? Mm-hmm. I'm saying that you're taking to the next level, the wins, the losses, the gel, the whole basketball atmosphere.
I would say, well, from that whole experience of just senior year, I would say that I took on like that role and that ability because it's something that you have to want. You can't.
Tell them again. Tell them again.
You want that leadership role. You have to be able to handle it, and it's something that you have to look forward to and welcome, because it can bring. You're the face of the team, kind of, sort of, so they're looking to you. Your teammates and your coaches are looking to you to lead, and they're looking to you to set an example. So that's probably what I did the whole year. And even though we came up short, I still felt like we set a level of play. We set a standard of play of how we should lead the team and how the team should be left even when I'm gone. So.
All right. With Cascade Sports being home of the student athlete, how important was your grades at Lincoln? And we already know you're not going to be at Lincoln Prep if you don't have them grades.
Yeah, grades pretty important. Academics has always been the forefront of my mind, even though I'm a student athlete. It's important to excel in the classroom because it's what's going to lead you to greater opportunities later on when you talk about college and you're entering the workforce and things like that.
So now we off the park.
Yeah.
What was that like when your first practice? Run that down. When you know, I'm a big time college athlete now.
I could say basically I walked into college kind of thinking like, well, this is going to be a new experience and it's going to be something I have to adapt to. I already know that. I did not know how severe it would be or how serious it would be because I was walking into new territory and I know I could hold my own weight, but then it was a sort of thing. I have to prove it to everybody who's watching, and then I have to still prove it to myself day in and day out. So the first days of practice are obviously meant to like be challenging and to break you mentally and physically. So that was just something I had to overcome, and then leaning on the other upperclassmen, the other freshmen, my teammates was something that I really I took a heed to because it helped me push forward.
All right. My girl Halima Ramsey's over there, assistant coach, and she's Lincoln alumni. What do you think the assistant coaches add to your game plan and your game in general? Because they've been where you're going.
So they're a great source of just light and just being positive on and off the court. They help us condition and they help us on the court, but they also provide a sort of like not protection, but I would say
You have that relationship with those assistant coaches that you can talk to them about almost anything and so forth.
Yeah, I would say that.
So, what was your freshman play like at Park? What do you talk to them about that? What that experience? And when you're talking to them, talk to them like you're talking to a young player also.
Okay, I would say my freshman experience, it was overall pretty good. I mostly got like a lot of playing time, more than I expected. So I was able to showcase the things that I could do whenever I could get on the court. So that was really helpful to me. I would say mostly played inside then out, so I tried to dominate the paint whenever I can.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. Do you go hard in the paint, or are you tiptoeing through the
No, I don't tiptoe through the lane. I really try to get in the paint, really try to make my presence known. But that's where most of my freshman play has really been, or my college play altogether has really been.
On 1 to 10, what kind of season would you rate your freshman season?
Freshman, I would give it a strong 7, like a strong 7.
And I'm retrospecting because I didn't want to interrupt you when you were saying some things. But talk about, you know that you the woman when you come in as a freshman. You know, you come out of Lincoln, you know you got some game. But when you go to college, whoever the other freshmen, they got game too. How do you respond, and did you see difference in personalities? They be the woman or the girl when they come, but when they get that real competition, a lot of girls or a lot of men, they fold.
Well, I could say I did come across a lot of different athletes that were good, or some that you may not even expect to be good, and then they'll surprise you. So I could say that for the most part, I think, I held my own against the ones that were already there, and then when it came to proving myself to the other freshmen or the other ones that played my same position, it was kind of a battle day in and day out, and it's we shake our hands, you got me today, but I'm coming back right at you. So it was always just like fun competition, but we always know that the competition is still there. And when it is there, you try your best to make your mark. So at the end of the day, coach remembers who did what.
All right, sophomore, run it down.
Sophomore year, I could say a bit of a change. We had probably a new team, new recruiting, a new roster. So during that time, we had a lot of transfers that came in. So Coach is still looking towards me to start being a
That's
leader.
what I was going to ask you.
Still,
What role did you start to have to change?
So coming off the previous year, I'm still trying to hold a starting position, still wanting to be a starter, and still producing on offense and defensively on the end. And so we're transitioning as a team. We're trying to gel and mix, and we spent most of the year doing that. I can say that most of my play was pretty steady, higher at times than others. I try to be a spark whenever I can when it comes to the games, or when it comes to if we're down or we're losing, whatever the case may be. So my role as a sophomore was really trying to keep us up the hill and looking up, and just being a positive force in the locker room, at practice, wherever I can be.
Was you satisfied with the way you finished your sophomore year?
I could say, yeah, I was kind of satisfied. I felt like I had more in the tank that I could have gave off, so it was
left
just
on
more,
the floor.
yeah,
Right.
more motivation for the following season.
At the end of the season, did Coach talk to you?
Yes, we always have an end of the year meeting.
Talk to me.
So
Or talk to my audience.
I'll talk. So basically, sometimes we'll talk about, the end of the year, what we think we could have did better, what could have happened, and what transpired. And basically just at the end of the year, we had a conversation about me just walking into my own and being a leader and on and off the court, and really just playing my role consistently at all times. So I took heed to that information, and it really has been a motivation to me still to this day.
So last year with the C19 popping up and what have you, how did that affect your team and affect you?
I can say with COVID-19, it was it was a strange year, and it was also kind of hard to navigate being a student athlete who had so many restrictions when it came to wanting to get in the gym, wanting to put up extra shots, to do extra things. We had all these safety restrictions in place because of the pandemic, so it kind of put like a halt on some of our plans that we had. I can say during the season it definitely was it was a pain to us because we had some people get ill, or we had close contact. So when those things happen, we have to take those precautions, and we had to sit out or do whatever the case
How did it
may be.
affect you as an athlete mentally?
Mentally, it was definitely something that I had to pray my way out of a lot of times, because even during the season I did come down with COVID-19, and just sitting out for 2 weeks without being around your teammates, without being around the game, it really slowed me down, and I had to really think like, well, this is your senior year, your last year, and it could be taken away from you. So it really had me thinking how much I value basketball, how much I value my teammates, and being a part of Park Women's Basketball, that I couldn't wait to get back.
All right. So what do you anticipate this season? Are there any specific numbers you want to put up? Run it down.
Well, I'm of course expecting a winning season. I myself personally, I want to have great numbers, great stats, but as much as it can be a help to the team, I don't ever want to hurt the team, but I do want to average double digits. I do want to, in points, rebounds, whatever I can do, I definitely want to do that. I'm hoping we have a great season and a great team this year. We're coming along with some returners from last year. We have new returners and transfers, so I'm hoping that we can come together, gel together, and leave a great mark on Park University.
Excellent. Would you have any closing comments before we?
Last comments, I would say this has been a great opportunity. If anybody you know is interested in women's basketball, anything like that, I think you should definitely make them be a part of it, because it has long-term lasting effects. You meet so many great people, you come across many great opportunities, and it's truly a blessing.
Excellent. And I think this was a really good interview, very informative. And as we say here at Cascade Sports, we go hard in the paint. When you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.